Hello everyone, it's Michael Lazar here, and welcome back to the channel. And in today's video, we're going to be doing a Q&A. So, all these questions are coming from my community tab. I asked recently if anyone had any questions about anything. So, I'm going to answer some of these questions. Now, if you have a question that wasn't answered, that you would like to know the answer to, put it in the comments down below. I'll do my best. So, the first question is, what is the height I'm looking to achieve when it comes to teaching Byzantine music? Now, I'm not looking for, I never made this channel with the intention to become a large Byzantine channel. Originally I just wanted to put up lessons for my students to learn from. But, now that this opportunity is there, I think God definitely might want something from me in the future with chanting. I think in the future, if there is a position that I could take that involves me chanting at a bigger scale, could be an archdiocese position, could be just staying online, it could be developing an online course for chanting. All these things are ideas that I've had, and what will happen in the future, I don't know. But I think it's good to take it day by day. Every day, something different changes, something changes in my life, something new is added to my plate. So it really just depends on what God wants from me and what opportunities I have in the next 2-3 years. The next one, if you're performing solo, how do you recover smoothly if you mess up? Here's the trick, right? If someone's doing Ison for you, and this is going to be Byzantine and Western, right? And opera stuff, right? If someone's doing Ison for you, that's the bass note. Try to recover at least to the Ison, but the better idea is recovered to the martyria, so the little marker at the end of the phrase. Could be a the, could be a pa, could be a ra, could be a vu. You want to end there at the end of your phrase. Even if you mess up horribly, just try to find the next one and say the text until you get there, and make sure it's on there. If not, maybe sing down until you find the bass note with the text. What the most important thing is preserving the text. The melody, the singing could be horrible, right? You could make a horrible mistake. You could sing the wrong notes for a whole 3 lines of text. But the text has to be understood. So as long as the text is still understood, even if you mess up, that is how you recover from it. The next thing with Western is if you mess up in Western, my thing is that if you're practicing and you messed up, don't learn the mess up. Do not let the mess up become engraved in your brain. Stop, where you are. Maybe understand why you made that mistake. Maybe you were thinking too far in advance with music. Maybe you were not being present with the music. Maybe your fingering messed up if you're playing piano. Maybe you're singing, maybe you didn't take a deep enough breath. Understand why you made the mistake. If you're performing, one, don't break down. You want to keep going. You want to push through a mistake. If you're playing piano, you make a big mistake in the piano, keep pushing through it. You don't want to hit a point in piano where you're playing and then you just stop playing because you're panicked. Just keep pushing. Singing, if you mess up, maybe mess up the words, or you mess up maybe a phrase, or maybe you sing something and a voice cracks. Same thing. Keep going. Try to hear the accompaniment and understand where you are in the music. If not, at least just try to keep going. That's the biggest thing. If you keep going, then nobody really notices the mess up that much. But if you stop and say, uh-oh, oops, then people notice it. Alright, the next question, how long have I been practicing both music and Western and Byzantine? I'll put 9 years. I'll give 9 years as the number. Between 8 and 9 years. But Byzantine, technically speaking, I started learning when I was 4, right? So give it 15 years for Byzantine. But I didn't actually start getting serious until about 8-9 years ago. Same thing with Western. I always loved to sing, but piano I started taking when I was in 5th grade, singing with saxophone. Cello I started when I was in 4th grade. That's 9 years. Could be 9-10 years, depending on how you're looking at it, but about that long. Next question. How do you use vibrato when you chant? Alright, I always say use vibrato when you chant. It's very, very different when you sing the Lord reigneth versus the Lord reigneth. When you use vibrato when you chant, it's it's not as tight as Western. What I mean, the interval when you sing vibrato, it's like oh, oh. You're changing the pitch back and forth. I think it's about 6 times a second. Oh, I think that's the proper way to do it if you measure it. When you sing like that with Byzantine, the Lord reigneth. You don't understand the ornamental style of Byzantine. Byzantine likes to play around the note. The Lord reigneth. It's not just a note, but also above and below it. Da, 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 da. The vibrato is meant to add more color and more texture. I always say in Byzantine, it's like you're developing a line of music, a thicker line. The vibrato adds more different pitches to it. So the way you use vibrato, it should be used as kind of finding other notes than the bass note that you're singing to sing. Meaning it's going to either be above it or below it by 1 step or half a step, depending on where you are on the scale. Now, should you use vibrato like an opera singer? No. You shouldn't do like, the Lord reigneth. That's not appropriate, because it doesn't correctly embody the Byzantine style, and a lot of times it's harder to understand the words of that darker and deeper color and that much vibrato. But when you have enough vibrato that you can keep the ornamented style of Byzantine chant, it's used in a tasteful way. Next question: do I have a collection of Byzantine books, or Byzantine music books? Yes. I have in Greek, Angelikos for liturgy. I have Angelikos Choros. These are my physical copies. These are not including any PDF copies that I don't have. So Angelikos Choros, I have the Canonica book and the Liturgica book. Then I have the Greek the Psalm book in Greek. I forget the exact name. It's Terpno. It's in my head somewhere. Then I have the Menaion books in Greek. I have the Anastas Matarion. In English, I don't have any books. I have textbooks, but nothing for music. I just use St. Anthony's or the Antiochian website or music I've written or other people have written. Arabic, I have all the books by Moore. I have the El Sanuj from Father Ola Malik. So I have about dozen more, about like maybe I'd say a dozen and a bit of books, maybe 24 books, just about that many music books. Do I know every single piece of music from these books? No, but whenever I need the music, it's nice to have. And I always say to people, once you know English well, then branch out. Don't just stop with English. Learn the Greek, learn the Arabic. Even if you're not Arab, learn Arabic. Even if you're not Greek, learn the Greek. There's so much repertoire in there that is so valuable, and that if you learn it, you really understand the Byzantine style in its kind of fullness, not just the American tradition, which is not really developed that much in my opinion. It still is in its developing years, but how the Greeks sing, how the Romanians sing, how the Lebanese, how the Syrians sing it. Each style might have its own different ornaments, their own different attractions, their own different little particularities that can give it a little bit of body to it. Now, when I sing English, for example, I'm singing with a couple styles in mind. Arabic for sure. Greek, the Greek attractions. I really appreciate how the Greek repertoire embodies the attractions in a way that is fundamental to Byzantine. I keep those attractions. The Arabic ornaments. That's where all the color, in my opinion, comes from. Having those ornaments. In English, this is more like Western repertoire, but I did study classical singing for 8 years. This is where I get a lot of the color from my voice, and I think that when you learn Byzantine, you have to understand how to apply it in a way that is appropriate for Byzantine. And I think definitely, I know this is kind of a bit of a tangent from the collection of books, but these books all bring things to my chanting, so that's why I think everything's important. The next question, where can you find good chants, reliable chants from? This is kind of going off last question. I always like Arabic and English chants. Who I like for Greek or Arabic? I like choirs. Choir Bellamen, they have some nice stuff. SEM has some nice stuff. Solo chanters, I like from Greek, I like Panayotis Neochoridis, just because he's the head of the church in Constantinople, St. George. I like what he sings. I like how he sings. I know people say that the people before him are more authentic. I mean, that's with anything, but his recordings are very accessible on YouTube, and that's why I like it, because I can access them. So I like listening to him. I'm not saying that I want to pump myself up more, but I think the music I put out on my channel is authentic, as in it accurately describes how Byzantine chant is in the eastern part of the world, and I think it translates it well into Western sense. So if you like Greek, that; if you like English, that; if you like Arabic, I like my father Eleazar, he's good. I like Father John Rasim Al-Masih, he's good. Those are more in English. Another couple creators in English, or Arabic. Amjad Khalil, he's another chanter online. He is posting some stuff recently. He's new to posting a lot, but he's good. I also like George Zane, has some nice recordings out there. So a lot of it is, you have to hear who is doing it authentically. How do you know if it's good or not? If it sounds good, it's good, and you'll know if it sounds good. You'll listen to it and be like, this is the authentic stuff, and you'll hear it and you'll like it. It's kind of like you'll just know it. And some chanters, some people might not like. They might say they're a bit theatrical, or they might do too many things with their voices. Like it's like I believe Saint Basil the Great says. He's like, be like the honeybee. Take the honey from the flowers. Don't take, if you see a garbage heap, but you see like a nice flower growing on it, take the pollen from the flower and leave the garbage alone. If you see a chanter and you really like the way he sings, but maybe he uses too many ornaments, maybe take what you like from his singing and leave what you don't like. So, and that's with everything in life. So the next question is it possible to be a good chanter without having a protopseltes to follow? The answer, in short, is yes and no. So you can be a reasonable, like someone who can go serve in the church without a protopseltes to follow. That is possible. If you take private lessons, or if you're self-taught even, and you listen a lot, you can become a proficient chanter. If you want to become a master protopseltes, that's something where it's nice to have that shadowing and nice to be under someone's wing. Is it necessary? From my experience, yes. Just because a lot of times Byzantine is passed on to the oral tradition, hearing how it sounds and applying it. But a lot of times, you're not going to have a master chanter. I was blessed that my dad is, he grew up in Lebanon. He learned from Elias Elmore. If you don't know who he is, he's Micho Elmore's son. He's like Micho Elmore wrote all the Arabic music. So my dad was in good hands, and I was in good hands. Because of that, I was able to learn Byzantine in a good manner. And having a father that you can just ask questions about chanting to, without any judgment, is really helpful. And I would say that if you don't have an experienced chanter or experienced mentor, sure, you can still learn it, and it's also nice to have one. So I'd say if you don't have one, see if you can find somebody who you can be a mentee to and who can mentor you. The last question. So if you don't know this, I'm not just a musician. I am a music major, so I study piano and composition. I also study biology. So I am a biology and chemistry, not wizard, but I am quite good at them. So the question is, how can you prove that sulfuric acid is stronger than carbonic acid in one chemical equation? And if you want the chemical equation, it's that sulfuric acid is a polyprotic acid, and the first hydronium ion, the first acidic proton, comes off like that because it's polyprotic. The first one's strong, and the second one also comes off. Although because it's strong, the first one, it fully dissociates. The second proton is harder to remove, but it's still a strong weak acid. So you end up getting, and sulfuric acid is the exception, because usually with polyprotic acids, the first proton's strong, but the rest are weak. With sulfuric acid, the second one's also pretty strong. So you kind of just show that the first one goes to completion when it's associating water. With carbonic acid, you have to understand that it's carbon dioxide mixing with water that is in equilibrium with carbonic acid. And carbonic acid, because of that, it's a weak acid, doesn't fully dissociate in water. And you can demonstrate that with the Ka, with just the fact that it's not an astronomically large number; it's a small number. So that's kind of just the biology and chemistry of the day. So I hope you found the video helpful or interesting. I always like to answer questions because a lot of times there's stuff that people want to know, and it's hard to make a video just talking about the collection of Byzantine books I have. I mean, I'm in my college dorm. I have 3 books, all Arabic books with me. I don't have any of my Greek books. I don't have any of the other Arabic books. I could show you a bunch of PDFs of random collections, but that's not going to be helpful for you. But if you have any other questions that I didn't answer, don't hesitate to leave a comment down below. Other than that, I'll see you in the next one, and have a great day.